Hello, Charizard for the win here. We're talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again. Big surprise. Anyways, the other day I picked up this 4 movie pack thing, and it's backwards, of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. It has the original 3 and the 2007, I think it was, TMNT movie. And I haven't seen any of these before, except for the 2007 one. So I thought it'd be cool to watch them. Or at least maybe the first one. But yeah. Anyways, I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one from 1990, and yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen it, so I'm going into it fresh. Anyways, it was pretty good. It was pretty cool. And I also started reading the comics, which is cool, and the comics are pretty damn sweet. Anyways, the interesting thing about this movie is that, okay, I don't know what I'm saying. Basically, the way I see the Turtles at this point in time is they kind of almost had 2 different source materials that the movie could have pulled from. That is, 1, the comics, the original material, and then 2, the 80s cartoon. Because the way the cartoon worked is they basically just took the concept and took it in an entirely different direction. Yeah, it does have most of the same characters, but they added many of their own, as well as just a whole different take on the whole idea. As in tone, it is entirely different from the comics. The comics are very, very dark, and that works perfectly fine for the comics. But when you make a movie on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that idea is just so weird that it has to be kind of not entirely done seriously. And in this movie, they do it pretty kind of goofy, but with a little bit of a dark-ish tone, kind of. Not really. It's basically just a kid's movie, and it is pretty awesome. Actually, it's pretty cool. What's yeah, for the most part, it's pretty cool. I'll talk a little bit about some of the characters. So Splinter was pretty awesome in this. I really liked him. He seemed very wise, and he had a lot of cool wisdom lines and stuff that he mentioned. And Shredder was also badass. It was really cool how he was mostly in shadow for a lot of the first couple scenes he was in, and they just would show him from behind and stuff a lot of the time. But when he spoke and when we got to see him do stuff, he looked pretty badass, and that's cool because that's a lot of what the Shredder is just this really evil-looking presence, and he was pretty evil-looking, so that was good. April O'Neil she was fine. She was functional. She's probably not as interesting as she is in the 80s show, and to this day, I think that is the best version of April. Probably even better than the comics. She's pretty good in the comics, but in the 80s show, she legitimately does stuff with the Turtles and is actually out there trying to help them out, and she feels like a real person. And in this movie, she kind of tries to fight the foot ninjas with her purse once or twice. So I guess she at least tried to do some things. So there's that. But yeah, it was still pretty cool. And the Turtles. One thing I really liked is that we didn't see them right away. We just in one of the opening scenes, we just see a Psy knock out one of the lights, and then when lights finally come back on, we just see the bad guys are all defeated or tied up or something like that. And then yeah, so I like that we don't exactly see them right away, and then when we do, it's kind of cool. And they do take some lines straight from the comics, which is also pretty awesome. And now, so the actual Turtles. Leonardo was pretty good. He was kind of the leader, more or less. He's just kind of there mostly. Raphael is the main one that they actually develop, and they had a couple really cool scenes with him. He had this one scene with Splinter where Splinter's you have it the toughest because you have this really you have to deal with you're just angry a lot, and that's just part of who you are, and you gotta have to deal with that. And the thing that makes you the reason. And what's interesting, okay, I'm not explaining well, but basically what he says is you have to deal with this anger that you have, and you choose to deal with it alone, or you have your brothers and me to help you, but you kind of ignore us a lot of the time, and it was kind of cool to see like that, and it makes Raphael feel like a really important turtle, and for some reason they make him really important, which is fine. I really like Raphael. He's probably my favorite turtle, and in this movie, he's pretty awesome. So that's good. I think that's good. It's just I feel like Leonardo, Donatello, and Michelangelo are also very important. Michelangelo and Donatello are mostly just comic relief. It's not surprising that Michelangelo is, but Donatello just kind of felt like, we'll just make him comic relief. It almost felt like they didn't really know what to do with him. I don't know. They could have had him like hack a computer or something, or maybe at least design. I don't know, something. Like he does machine stuff, so I don't know. He didn't really do much of that in this one. That's okay, I guess. But that kind of waters him down to a couple of comic relief lines. Whereas Michelangelo is the comic relief, so he should be doing that. Where Donatello can have funny lines, that's fine. But like I don't know, he seemed like he almost did nothing in this. Um. Anyways, about half. And Casey Jones was pretty cool. I liked him in the movie. They kind of introduced him really early, um, and the way that like they introduced him the same way as like in the comics. Basically, he's about to like beat the shit out of a couple random thugs, and Raphael's like, "Oh, you don't need to do that," and I'm like, "Why? He barely even touched them." Where in the like comics, he's like legitimately gonna like kill these guys. And Raphael's like, dude, they're just random guys. You don't need to kill them. Even and anyways, that was I think just kind of it felt just a little rushed and almost like Raphael was overreacting. Anyways, he was still fun and he had some good lines some good funny parts as well. Um, yeah, for the most part, it's more comedic and light in tone. When And there was some good fight scenes that were choreographed, and it's impressive that they were able to coordinate fight scenes while these guys while people are wearing these turtle costumes. Because in some movements it does feel a little clunky, but yeah, it is a kids movie, so who cares? And they did a fairly good job with creating them, what the turtles and how they move and stuff, and the mouse and everything move pretty well for the most part. But yeah, it's kind of cool that we actually do get to have them fight. And one part that's really cool is with the there's a part. It's basically straight from the comics where the turtles go to April's house because the Foot have destroyed their home. So now they're at April's. They also don't know where Splinter is. Well, he's captured. Anyways, the point is, Raphael at one point leaves to just kind of blow off some steam. And in the comics, it was Leonardo who left. Now, it does make sense for Raphael to actually leave because Leonardo was just kind of like training and then he gets attacked by foot ninjas, and so Raphael is the one who gets attacked by foot ninjas, which is all fun and good. It's just kind of interesting that Raphael, they continue to make him an important character. Well, a lot of the time in the comics, Leonardo is one of the more important ones, and Raphael as well. But Leonardo was the one who was fighting out there for that point. But actually, I think it makes sense for Raphael to do that. Anyways, Raphael gets thrown through the window. Then they have a huge fight at second time around antique store, or something, whatever it's called. Anyways, and then Casey Jones comes in, and a bunch of foot ninjas come in, and they all fight, and then the place gets lit on fire, and they come out the back. And that whole sequence I thought was really cool because it was a little more dark, and it felt great to just see stuff from the comics happen in real life. It was just kind of cool to see. And then yeah, they go to April's in the comics. It's Casey's grandma's place, I think. Anyways, it was April's grandma's place or something like that. Anyways, whatever, who cares? They're at this like cottage place or farm or something. Anyways, and they hang out there for a bit. And that sequence was also basically from the comics. Then when they finally come back to New York, I'm not sure if the Return to New York comic was out yet. Because they don't take many ideas. I don't think they took they basically took no ideas from that and just kind of did their own thing, which was fine because what we did get was pretty cool, and the okay. The only disappointing thing I think was the kind of the fight like with the Shredder at the end is we didn't really see a whole lot of a fight. And in the first time they face the Shredder in the comics, the Turtles they face him one on one, and then they realize, oh no, we need to work together, and then they work together and they defeat him. In the movie, they face him one on one, and that doesn't work, so they try facing him one on one again, which also doesn't work. And then Splinter comes and beats the Shredder for them. So we didn't get a huge fight with the Shredder, which is too bad because it would have been cool to see a really good fight with him. I don't know. It was just kind of like disappointing because we got a really big, awesome fight with at uh, at April's apartment, and then it goes and this fight is much goofier as well. As where I think the end climax should be the most intense part, but they're still like making jokes and stuff at this point. Not that they weren't making jokes at the other parts, but it felt like more was at stake almost. Anyways, in the end, the movie is made for kids, so if it's a little bit goofy, that's okay. And there was some really good parts in it, like I thought Splitter was awesome, and Raphael was pretty cool. Oh yeah, and they had this cool build-up with Raphael at the beginning and then at the middle, and he seemed really important, but then they didn't follow up with that at the end. He was just another one of the turtles that happened to be there. Not that they need to make Raphael the main character, as they don't, because there's three other turtles that are just as important. But if they were gonna if they kind of build this up and then have him be there, they didn't really have a whole conclusion with that story. I guess they kind of did while they were at April's, but not really. I don't know. I just felt like they could have had the last little bit with Raphael at the end or something like that. Anyways, in the end, the movie is pretty good. You should maybe check it out if you're a fan of the Turtles. And yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know if I'll watch the 2 and 3 because I've heard that those ones aren't as good. But, or they're more goofy. I don't know. I haven't heard anything really that makes me go like, yeah, about them. And also, there's a new Turtles movie coming out this year. I'm hesitantly excited for it because the parts in the trailer with the turtles look really cool and it looks good. The parts with April look like shit, but who cares because it's April. I don't know. I'll probably check it out. I don't know if it'll be good, but it looks kind of good. I don't know. I'm kind of scared, but it could be good. I don't know. Anyways, that's this movie. It's not bad. Maybe check it out, and that's the end.